Hi there. Welcome back. It's me, Leslie Zazoo Plazz, the author of The Audacious Adventures of Zazoo Plazz, part-time superhero, full-time mom. And I'm back today with a Zazoo Plazz World Update. It's May 29th, 2020, close to the end of the May Zazoo Plazz Video Challenge. And, oops, I just remembered I forgot to put the video in conference on the sign on the door, so somebody might barge in on me. But I'll make this quick. So today, I just want to go everywhere during Gemini season. I have so much to talk about. The thing that occurred to me today was, in the book, I talk a lot about communication. And there's a whole chapter called Focus on Your Calling. That's all about, it starts with this phone, which is the one that we have upstairs and downstairs. You probably have one like this. It sits in a little stand. And the whole chapter is about me trying to get in some work on a day when my husband was at work near Christmas, and that thing kept going off, and it had this obnoxious ring that my husband had set to remind me of him while he was at work, so that I'd get really annoyed and, go off and that stuff, which does happen. So the chapter is about what happens when, turning the phone off and back on and all the interruptions that happen during the typical day. In the middle of the chapter, I am reminiscing about the phone that we had when I was growing up, which was for the longest time one of those gold. It was kind of a pukey 70s, gold. And it was nailed to the wall, and it had a pretty short cord, I don't know, like that, like my dog's leash. And it occurred to me, and if you wanted to talk on the phone, you pretty much had to sit on this collapsible stool. It had like a step, I'd sit on that, I'd step up on it, and I'd have to sit there to talk on the phone. And my mother couldn't walk around. You couldn't walk around. It had, it was only about as long as a lamp cord, and you would try to go around the corner and get some privacy, but you couldn't. So eventually, here's what happened, and I talk about this in the book. Just read a little bit. Mom was thrilled to get a longer cord so she could talk while she cooked dinner. A freedom akin to putting the dog on a 100-foot run staked in the backyard when she's been confined to a 6-foot-long nylon rope her whole life. So then I talk about how, I couldn't wait to get on the phone and tell people about things, relatives, friends, everybody. I always wanted to use the phone, or if my mother was on the phone, I was always, like in the hallway, like this, trying to eavesdrop and see, like pearl bath beads, like trying to catch the pearls of wisdom that would fall, the information that she would let slip. I wouldn't go so far as to pick up the other, we didn't really have, we had 2 phones, and they were similarly tethered, so you couldn't really walk around very much. But that one in the kitchen, wow, she loved that phone. She could cook dinner, she could clean, she could walk around, and yet she doesn't care for her cell phone these days. I can't really teach them how to use it very much. But it occurred to me in that writing that chapter, but more so after I wrote the book and I'm letting it digest, it occurred to me when I was younger, even through my 20s, Mom would call and ask me lots of questions. Always asking me, what was I doing? What was I up to? Who was I doing, going places with? There's lots of questions. She always seemed to want to talk for a long period of time. Dad's a facts only please person, but that's a whole other story. But Mom, and then I'd say, even when the kids were little or whatever, she wanted to call and talk. And I was always too busy, just doing stuff and whatever. I'll talk to you later, Mom. And now, since I've written the book, and I'd say in the past couple of years, since Mom's turned 80 and, she's taking care of her health, and we're thinking of our parents in a different way, I guess. Caring for them in a different way than similar to how they cared for us. And it's turned around to now, I want to ask her questions, and she wants to hang up on me. And so I'll say, Mom, did you read this in the book? What did you think about this? And I'm asking her questions about astrology now that I know more about it. And I'm asking her, detailed questions, things that I've always wanted to ask her. And, we get along better. And then she'll say, and I feel her energy and she's kind of waning. And I hear the TV in the background sometimes. And I think she says, well, I got to go put my chicken in now. And I'll say, okay. And she's blowing me off now. Okay. So she has much less stamina than she used to when it comes to being nosy and asking questions. And maybe it's that I'm more forthcoming, Maybe I just tell her more things. Or maybe she's just not as interested. I don't know. Maybe I have to come up with some better stuff to not tell her. Love you, Mom. Maybe I tell her too much. In any case, I think what it means is that I've just developed a new appreciation for my mom as a woman, and not just as a mom, as a person, and not just as someone who has to keep me in line, on a leash, disciplined, and make sure that I grow up okay. Now that I'm grown up, maybe she's letting me take the lead for a little bit. Show her what kind of woman I choose to become in the world. So that's some food for thought for today. How about you? How have your conversations changed with your loved ones, especially your mom or, close female relatives or people who raised you? Have they changed? Kind of interesting to explore. So, and I'm sure there will be more stories about all of that in future Zazoo books. If you like that stuff, if you like stories about family, stories about relatives, about, growing up in the 70s, 80s, 90s time frame, and, a lot of other stuff thrown in. It's got it all. It's got everything. Action, colorful characters, pop culture. Check it out. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.